So today I'm here with Jenna Jones, who owns her own website design company. And she's in Billings, Montana, and I'm in San Diego. So this is my first Zoom interview. So that's why we're in two different places. But Jenna, thank you for taking time to do this interview today.
Yes, of course. Yes, happy to be.
Carving out time because Jenna has 3 kids, so she's definitely a busy mama.
Yes.
So let's just get started. So what inspired you to start your business?
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little bit of backstory. So my husband and I got married young. I was only 19, and then I did school after that. So I kind of got the advantage that most of my good friends were a year or two ahead of me. So I saw a whole bunch of my friends go to school, get a 4-year degree, get a job they love, and then they would have kids 2 years later, quit, and then they would kind of like start a whole new business after that. And so I remember I had been thinking, well, no big deal. I'll just stay at home with my kids while they're young. And then once they're all in school, then I'll go back to work again. But then after all of my friends were stepping down from their jobs and I started calculating the years, I was realizing, okay, if I have 4 kids and they're spaced apart by a couple years and I wait till they're all in school, that's literally going to be 12 to 15 years. So I was realizing, wow, that is a long time. I really don't want to have no work for 12 to 15 years. And so then I was realizing, okay, I either kind of need like a secondary career or I need to start planning for a job that is going to work with the lifestyle that I want to have, because I really don't want to be at work all day, every day while I have little kids at home. But I also don't want to just be with little kids all day for the next 12 years. So so I really think that it was that inspired me. And I had a job at an ad agency and got pregnant. And so that was really kind of like the make or break moment. Like, okay, I'm either going to have to come back to work and put them in daycare. I'm going to have to go out on my own and see if this can make this work. So I did. So I tried.
Okay. And then how old was your first when you started your business?
So I started planning it as soon as I got pregnant. And so I actually started, well, I should say, so again, I worked at an ad agency. So at the time I was just doing all kinds of websites, marketing, graphic design, just kind of everything. And I did have a couple of my own clients, but I mostly was working at the agency. So I quit my job and started my own business officially 2 months before I had my baby. So yeah, so 2 months before I had my baby was when I launched the business. And I really I wasn't getting paid a lot. So I think my only hope and expectation was that I could at least make what I had been making. And it was like, well, we'll see if this works. So yeah, so that's 6 years ago now.
Oh, awesome. Well, something's working, so we're going to hear more about it. So I think you kind of touched on this, but what is one risk you had to overcome to start your business?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the primary thing was just income. I think it was a big choice. I mean, I needed to have a job. So it was either I'm going to be employed by somebody else or I'm going to work for myself. And so the big deal was, am I going to be able to make enough money doing stuff on my own, or do I really need to work for someone else? So I'll just give you a couple tips I've learned that I had to adjust, kind of learning all of that process. But so I initially set a goal for myself saying, okay, I need to make X amount per month. And then again, I did a whole bunch of things. I did graphic design, web design, marketing, and it was a little hard for me to shift working on my own, that my time is money, that like that's the only thing I get paid for. And then I quickly learned too that there's a whole bunch of things that I could be good at, but my clients value things very differently. So here's an example. Let's say I have 6 hours to work on something. Let's say 10 hours. I could do a wedding invitation and people would want to pay $75 for that. I could do a corporate brochure and there would be a budget of maybe $500 for that. Or I could do a website and there would be a budget of maybe $3,000 for that. So that's a pretty big difference, even though it might take me the same amount of time and effort to do all of those different things. So I really quickly realized that my business goes way better when I'm recognizing what the market values and then I'm spending my time getting good at those things, instead of just saying, I really love wedding invitations, and I'm so disappointed that nobody wants to pay me more than $75. I mean, you can find an incredible wedding invitation on Etsy for $15 or $25. So even if that's what I think I would love to do, that just doesn't make sense for business. So I really kind of had to step outside of my artistic side and really think, like, how is this going to add up to what I need it to add up? And I'll give you my 2 more tips for that. Even though I make a good amount hourly now, I have to be so super conscious that I am doing billable hours every single day. Because as a business owner, there's so many other things you have to do. Like, all of my clients want to have meetings, they want to do phone calls, I have to respond to new leads, I have to do invoicing, and it's really easy, or like things that I'm just passionate about, it's easy to spend my time on all of those things and pay for childcare and get to the end of the day and realize I brought in no money today. So I have to be super intentional about, I have 4 hours. I have to do work that's going to add up to that much work during this time. So anyhow, that's my tip for that.
Okay, excellent. No, that's really good. Next, this kind of goes along with creative habits. So that's what I'm really helping other women with at Creative Habitat. So what's a creative habit that helps you keep the vision alive and helps you stay refueled as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I feel like if you would have asked me this at the beginning of my business, my answer would have been different. But honestly, I feel like 6 years in, some things that I used to love, that used to really refuel me, I've just done so much now that it feels a little more status quo, I guess. So the things that I love to do now, I would say primarily vision casting. So I have tons of journals. I have a whole bunch. I'll show you here's some of my like vision journals.
Okay.
My woodland vision journals. All the time. Oh, here, hold on. Let me find my notes. I'm sitting down and I just am writing down my hopes, my dreams, my ideas, things that are like my best case scenario. Like, if it was my absolute best case scenario, what would that look like? And then I write down roadblocks, like why is that not happening? What are my limitations? What are things that are keeping me from that? And I write down things that I want to research, things that I want to learn, specifically people that I want to seek out and that I want to connect with. And that would be people that are ahead of me that I want to learn from, or peers that I want to collaborate with, or even people that I see that have potential that I want to pour into. And so I think just constantly refreshing my vision, like, why am I in this? Where am I hoping this will go? Like, what is happening as a result of this really helps me establish clear priorities, stay motivated, stay on task, and just enjoy it, I think. Yeah, so just have a big picture in mind.
That's awesome. I actually have my vision journal right here. It's falling apart. It's full of like all those different things. I think it's upside down right now. No, but so yes, I have mine as well, and I need to get a new one.
That's awesome.
I love that. All right. So this one's a big one for Creative Habitat because it's all about fueling moms through their creative gifts. So as our mompreneur, as the media calls us, how do you balance motherhood and your business goals?
Yeah. So again, this was a big learning process for me. And I feel like as a mompreneur, you usually kind of fall on one of 2 sides. One is that you tend to procrastinate and you don't actually get work done. So can be a downside. The other is the opposite, and that's where you love your business and you can be obsessed with it and it can just start to take over your life. So I think it's helpful to recognize that you're going to tend towards one of those 2 things. So I think time management is really key. So for me, I would tend towards the be obsessed with it, it's going to take over my life side. So I would say actually for the first 2 years that I did my business, especially when you're in the startup mode, it's just so exciting and it's a big deal when you get new clients and you love what you're doing. And it's all new, so it's not like you have a really clear workflow or know exactly what you're doing. So it's easy to just spend so much time. And so I think 2 years in, I was realizing that it really was starting to take over my life, and that even when I was with my kids, that I wasn't present, that my mind was just consumed constantly with all of this stuff. And I was getting calls from clients all the time. I was staying up super late all the time working. I wasn't really able to sleep. And so I remember there was actually a turning point. It was a Friday, and I got calls or emails from 3 different clients to ask for big new projects by Monday. I remember thinking, this is not working. So since then, there's been a couple of things that I've done that have really helped. And the first one is that I have to be really honest with myself about my limitations. That I really do have limited time, and I have to know ahead of time that I am not going to be able to do everything that I want to do, or I'm not going to be able to do all of the leads I get or all of this stuff. So being honest with myself about how much time that I actually have is important. And then 2, I have to have really clear priorities. And so, for example, I have to be really intentional about how much time do I want to get with my kids, and not just like they're in the same room and I'm responding to emails on my phone, but like focused, present, like they know that I'm here with you, we are connecting in a meaningful way, time. So I guess intentional time with my family, and then how much time is going to go towards work, and what can I actually accomplish in those times. And so the first part of it was me identifying it for myself. Like this is what my time actually looks like. This is how I want to spend my time and prioritize it, and then actually blocking it out according to that. And so my 2 tips with that, I do, like I said, I do time blocking. So I was going to show you my little time block. Where did okay. Hold on, one more show and tell. Okay, this is what I do. I don't know if you guys can see it, but basically what I do is I time block 2 hours at a time. Oh, sorry, I'm going to close this real quick so you guys can hear me. I time block 2 hours at a time. And so every day I only have work time from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. And then after my kids go to bed from about 9 to 11. So I just schedule 3 work priorities every day, and that's it. And so in my work, like my little list that I showed you, on the right side, I have all of my big priorities listed. And then I just have random updates. And then on the left side, I just have 3 blocks for every day, and that's it. And so every day, these are my non-negotiable big priorities. These 3 things must get done. And then if I do finish them in less than the 2 hours, then I go ahead and tackle all the other little stuff. But that really helped me. And then what I do is I schedule all of this stuff at the beginning of the week. So you can see this is my blank one for the next 2 weeks. So I don't have it all filled in yet, but these are my time blocks on the left. So I'll schedule it ahead of time, and then what that enables me to do is to not stress about it. So even if I have a huge project coming up, I know this project is worth 10 hours. I have 10 hours scheduled this week, and I'm not going to spend more than that because I won't get paid for it and I won't spend time with my kids. So I just have to be, again, honest about how much time I have, and then I schedule the things that are important. And then the last thing that was really important is I had to set the terms for how I wanted to be treated. And so I had to sit down for myself and say, these are my work times. And I have some like kind of weird stuff that I've developed along the way. Like I just don't answer the phone. I don't take phone calls just because, again, if I'm focused, if I have my 2 hour block and I'm focused and I answer a phone call, then I just missed my priority and it didn't get done. So if you call me, you'll get my voicemail and it just says, hey, I don't listen to my voicemail. Please send me an email. So
my voicemail is actually full right now for that reason.
Right. Well, that's
like, why is your voicemail full? I'm like, because you can just text me or email me. So,
So if my clients want to talk on the phone, then they can email me and schedule a time and we'll talk. And if it's more than 20 minutes, they get billed. And so I had to so I created all these terms, like how much lead time I need for a project, what things people are going to get billed for and what they won't get billed for, and all of this stuff. And I was really nervous to send it to my clients. I thought I would lose clients, or that, I don't know, that it would just be weird, but I sent it to them and everyone was awesome. Everyone was just like, great. And it made me realize that the same way that I'm trying to balance work and life and family, that everyone else is too. And people were more than happy to engage with me in a positive, respectful way, but I just hadn't set an expectation for what that was. And so now I don't get calls on Saturdays. People don't text me. They know to just email me. And even if I do, I've switched my mentality from like, gosh, why are they texting me on a Saturday, to I probably haven't communicated to them that I'm not going to work on Saturday. And so I just respond back and I say, hey, thanks so much for your message. Go ahead and send me an email and I'll get back to you on Monday. And so that way I'm not frustrated. They're not feeling bad or confused about how we work together. I just set clear, this is how you're not going to take away from my family time or my sanity or my sleep. But again, it took me 2 years to, I don't know, figure out what systems works for me, and I think have the confidence and boldness to set some clear boundaries too.
Well, that's really helpful because I'm kind of at the beginning stages. So, and I find that there's so much I want to get in order for the infrastructure and everything, and it can be overwhelming. And I literally do I just carve out time and I get whatever I can get done during that time. But I like that you have those non-negotiables. I think it's helpful to be a little more established because for me, at least, I just have a huge to-do list of so many different things.
Yeah.
So I try to have just certain parts of the business that I focus on each day. So
yeah, no, that's good.
So it's slow. It's a slow process for me personally, but an enjoyable one. So I get to meet people like you, which brings me to my next question and final question. And the purpose of this question is just to inspire the viewers and just to hear from your perspective, who is like one amazing person or a client that you've gotten to meet as a result of kind of stepping out of your maybe comfort zone or taking those risks you talked about at the beginning. Because I think whenever you start a business, it's not just a business, it's also a calling, I think, a lot of the time, because often you don't start something unless you're really passionate about it. And then you meet really amazing people as a result. So can you give an example of maybe someone really awesome who you've met and you've been inspired by?
Yes, and I would say this has been my favorite, the best part about what I do. And especially since I do marketing, I primarily am working with entrepreneurs and visionaries and people that are really change agents and passionate. And so most of the time I'm sitting down with incredible people that have huge vision, and we're just sitting down and making a strategy and a plan for how we're going to get the word out and how we're going to make this thing real. And so it gives you this like special bond where you're in at the ground level, and then when you get to see something take off, you have this like special knowing, like nobody knew that this is a crazy idea and that we don't know what we're doing and that it actually works. And so it's just such a fun celebration and bond that I feel like I have with my clients when we start something fresh from the beginning and then it actually takes off and works. So I was thinking of so many people, but I think of one in particular. Her name is Tracy Kanoski. So yeah, she started out as a client, but she's become an amazing friend. And I can think of like 4 reasons why she's had a huge impact on my life. But one, my husband and I also do ministry stuff. And so we put on a big worship night, and they've been amazing and really partnered with us in that. So it's been so cool to do ministry stuff and then also business stuff. 2, she's an incredible nutritionist. And so through doing all of the web stuff with her, nutrition has really become a passion of mine as well. And so everything I know about food and nutrition stuff is from Tracy. So I always joke that she's my health conscience, that Tracy is just always in my head, like, what would Tracy say about this? And so I would just say our lifestyle and our health and my perspective on food and medicine has just completely changed because of Tracy. And then 3rd, through working with her, she has a web-based, she's a virtual nutritionist. So she meets with people like this all over the country doing nutrition stuff. So through us working together, her business has just completely taken off. So she has like a 70-person wait list right now, which is amazing. So it's been so fun to get to see her take off. And then through that, she started mentoring other people all over the nation that want to learn how to be virtual nutritionists as well. And so through her, I got to do work with all of those other nutritionists. So seriously, the past 6 months, I've done almost all nutritionist sites.
Oh, wow.
And they're all people that are in Tracy's mentor group. And so, yeah, so that just has been so fun. Just a treasured friend and all kinds of pursuits in all directions with her. And again, just personal lifestyle change. So it's been good.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time to do this interview, and everyone check out Jenna's website, which will be below this video. And I hope that I'm one of those new entrepreneurs that you'll look at be a year down the road and say, oh, remember that big idea she had, and now look where it is now. So you were part of it. So be part of my development process. I was telling you that I'm kind of taking it slow. For those of you who have read my blog, I'm pregnant. I'm due with my second child in 2 months. So, 2017 is still going to be kind of a developing and launch year, but it's going to be great because I get to work and talk to people like Jenna. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Have a great day in Montana.